Heidi ho, we are going to make a EX37 exercise 37. This one is, it's just a plate with a bunch of holes in it, but it's going to give us some practice doing more patterns, and that's why I chose this one. We can make all these holes individually, but we can also make them using patterns, and that's kind of fun. So I'm going to do a whole variety of things just to show off, I suppose. So the basic shape to me looks like a 120 wide and 50 tall rectangle, which I'm going to do a center point rectangle so it's nice and centered still. And then there's some fillets in the corners, which we can add later. And there's just a whole mess of holes. Okay, and I think what we're going to do for these holes is we'll make the center holes and these two holes to the side. I think we'll also make one of, well, see, we're going to have to make these other holes separately if we're going to use the pattern. So I'm just going to start off with the center hole and these two holes on the side and the plate itself, and then we'll go from there. So, and again, it's not the only way to do it. This is just a way to do it. So based on the drawing, it looks like the front plane would be the one to use for the sketch. So I'm going to start with a sketch on the front plane, right click to hide all the planes, hit N from my normal view. And like I said, I'm going to start off with a center point rectangle, and I'm going to make it 120 wide and 50 tall. So 120 by 50, and there we go. Good place to start. And I'm going to zoom in on a little bit so we can see what we're up to. I'm also going to make a construction line going up the center because I am going to use the symmetry of this part a little bit, and I need a line to do that. Okay, so I'm going to put a circle in the center, and according to the drawing, that's a 20. So I'm going to make that 20. And then there's some other circles over the side. So they're lined up with the center of the rectangle, just like this circle is. So I'm just going to come over to the right, following the yellow line, and make a circle. And that circle is, oh come on, it's got to be in the drawing somewhere. Oh, it's a 10. There we go. So I'm going to make that a 10. Okay. And I'm also going to make another circle over here, and there it is. Okay, I'm going to move these dimensions out of the way. And I'm going to use the symmetry stuff to make this up. First of all, I want these circles to be equal in size, so I'm going to use an equal constraint between this one and this one. Okay, and then I'm going to use a symmetric constraint to make sure that they're the equal distance from that center line. Okay, now for the dimensions. Now, part of the reason I did it this way is it says that the dimension between these two centers is 52 in the drawing. Here, I'm going to bring that down so you can see that. See how it says 52? It also shows that it's 26, but you know, it's going to work either way. I'm just going to do it the way they have it. Why not? I'm going to click here and here because I've made them symmetric. I can do that, and I'm going to make that 52, and now it's fully dimensioned. So I'm going to accept that sketch, right click and select isometric, and we're going to extrude that. The drawing shows that the thickness of this is 7. Let me show you where I'm getting that from. See that 7 right there in that section? So we'll use that as our extrude distance. The face is here, and I'm going to make that a 7, and we are good. Okay, so now we're gonna create the other holes using patterns. Now you know what? Actually, I'm going to do the fillets first. In the drawing, it shows that there are 4 10mm fillets. So I'm going to get the fillet tool, change that to 10, and then we'll do that right now. There's a reason for that, which may become clear as we go. So we got that going for us, and there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to make a sketch on this face, and this is going to be for my the remainder of my holes. So I'm going to hit N to look straight on, and I'm going to make a 10 according to this drawing. These holes are 10mm, and they're located 10 from the left side and 10 from the top side. Okay, so I'm just going to make one hole, and I make it right here. I'm going to make it 10, And then I'm going to use the dimension tool between the center and the top to make that 10. And I'm going to go from the center and the left side and make that 10. Now we're fully dimensioned. Also, I'd like to make one of my holes for this pattern. And if you notice, there is 6 of these, and there's one directly above on a circle that is 35 in diameter. And these are 3mm holes. So I'm going to make that construction circle first. And it was 35 in diameter, so I'm going to click and make it 35. And then I'm going to make another construction line that goes straight up from the origin, intersects with the circle. Let's drag this out of the way. And I'm going to make a 3mm hole right at that intersection right there. Make that 3. Okay, so these are the holes we need to start, and then we're going to make patterns out of these. Okay, so I'm going to accept the sketch, go to my isometric view, and I'm going to start with this pattern in the middle because we've been doing these lately, and that I would say is maybe an easier one to start with. So I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to select that little hole, and oops, forgot to make it a remove. There we go, and then I'm going to accept that. Okay, so now we have that hole. Now I'm going to make a circular pattern for that hole. So I'm going to go to my circular pattern tool. The entities to pattern would be extrude 2. Oops, nope, you got to change it to feature pattern first. So easy to forget. Now the axis of pattern, I'm going to make it this circle right in the middle. And right now there's 4, but I need 6. And bingo. Okay. Now I'm also going to extrude, I need to get that sketch back so I can see that hole that we made out there. There it is. I'm going to extrude that. Make sure it's a remove extrude. Select the hole and then hit enter. Okay. And then I'm going to do a linear pattern to make this. Okay. Now you don't have to do it this way. The reason I did it this way is just to illustrate how the linear pattern can work again. Okay, so going back, so what I'm going to do, entities to pattern, first I need to make it feature pattern. The features to pattern would be extrude 3. The direction for the first one, I'm going to make along this line. Okay, and you notice it went in the wrong direction, so I'm going to change it to the opposite direction. Now, right now it's only 25mm away, but if you look at this, from here to here is 50 plus 50. So if I change that number to 100, it should put it right where I want it. And there it is. Okay, now here's the cool thing. I can also make the other two by selecting where it says second direction. Okay, and the direction this time is going to be along that direction. Okay, and if you notice nothing happened, that's because this is still set at 1. I'm going to change that to 2, and we've got some more holes, but that's obviously not the right dimension. It says over here that there needs to be 30mm between those holes. So I'm going to change this value to 30, and we should be right where we want to be. There it is. Now I'm going to accept that, and my part is now done. I'm going to hide the sketch because it ain't pretty. And then I'm going to right click and go isometric, and there we go. And again, you don't have to make it that way. I did it that way to illustrate how you can use the linear pattern to create this type of situation. This will probably come in even more handy when we have to do something more elaborate, but you know, the more we practice things we've learned in the past, the more we'll remember them in the future. So there you go. Have fun, everybody.